It's more for our vivid, our more like funky, artsy, cool kid effects. So how many of you have used it? Who hasn't used it? Okay, so we all understand what it is. Do we mix it with a developer?
No.
No, it comes straight out of the tube, it's ready to go. I've already put some in some bowls. You can see how bright the red is. This is the Big Apple Red. All of the names have something to do with New York City.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, everything has to do with New York City. We've got Yellow Cab, Chelsea Coral, West Village Sunset, that's what's on my hair. Broadway Blue, East Village Violet, on and on and on, okay? So these are our options. We do have our newest options being jet black that we can add to any of the other colors. Why would we add a black to it? Darken it a little bit, or to make it more of like that smoky effect, right? So we could just do a little bit, start with a little bit and build up to it. If you go overboard, then you're gonna darken it out too much, but start with a little bit. Also, we have it in clear. What would that be for?
Diluting.
Yeah, diluting it, making it less pop of color, a little bit more pastel, so.
If you wanted to create pastels, hot tip is do your clear first and then just drop of your other color and mix as you need, and then that way it's not too much, because a lot of people will be like, oh, this blue, oh, now I need 10 tubes of clear to dilute it, right? So start with your clear first and then do drops, and then add, because visually how it looks in the bowl is how it's gonna look on hair if it's light enough. So I even like to take a white paper towel and paint it on there as I'm creating my formulas, and then I can visually see them. The only one that does not look like its true color is the East Village Violet. It looks brown.
Yeah, when it comes off for some reason it looks brown, but
It's
once you get
something
it
with
on,
the dyes
yeah.
in the violet, and it's, I don't know why exactly, but
But it actually ends up being
it
violet.
ends up being a beautiful violet, but when you look at it in the bowl, it looks brown.
Right.
That's the one you wouldn't throw away.
How light does the hair have to be for City Beats? City Beats can be put on levels 1 through 10, but just know that it will be more vibrant the lighter the level.
My level is a 7, and a week ago or so, a week and a half ago, I got my hair refreshed. So we did a zone 1 with the Shades EQ Cover Plus, and then everything else was just the West Village Sunset City Beats, okay? And so this is about a week. I've washed it 2 times, I think, since that day. So you can still see vibrancy, yes? Right? But being a level 7, it looks very different. You see where it's a little bit more bright on the ends? That would be where I had some balayage pieces, but I still wasn't any lighter than an 8 there. Okay, so it will affect everyone's hair, but a matter of how much of the actual color or brightness are you gonna see? That's all about how much lightness and how much gold is not in the hair.
Yeah, and I would encourage you guys, whenever you're doing this process, and she'll be showing you, don't be scared to paint it on the darker hair, because you're gonna see an outcome there. So imagine your guests in the salon that are brunette. Brunettes don't get enough love sometimes, right? Or their hair looks dull. Yellow, just taking straight yellow cab and refreshing the ends of a brunette is gonna bring that reflection back. I was talking about the prism of color. It's gonna bring that reflection back. Or your coppers, your redheads, you can refresh them with the orange, the red, any of that. It's not gonna hurt it. It's gonna be beautiful.
Guess what you can do with those white swatches that you order from Pivot Point? You can swatch out a lot of these, like combine some different things, like just write everything out on the ratios of what you're doing so you can create it, and then you can always reference back like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I want for this color on this guest, and then you know exactly how to create it, and you're not trying to guess in the moment, so.
Is this close enough up for you? Or do you need more?
I think it's okay. I
You
think
need
it's
it-
good. Will you go to,
You need a hand?
no, will you go to the flip though that I
Oh,
created?
yeah.
Okay, so this is our City Beats workshop, and again, you see our end result, beautiful here, Ellie, and she is one of the color combinations. There are 2 different color combination options, so everyone's going to be using 3 colors. How many colors are you going to use?
3.
3. If you don't have 3 bowls, that's okay, because your neighbor probably is going to use one of the same colors that you are. You guys can kind of share a bowl, right? So just go about it however we need to. But our recommendations are you're either choosing the Big Apple Red, West Village Sunset, and Yellow Cab together, or
Times Square Teal, Electric Orchid, and is it Broadway Blue?
Broadway Blue. Yes. So
That's
that
what
those,
this one is.
yeah. So I'm demonstrating this one, and the one that you see that we have started or came in with is the other option. They're all at your tables already to go. You shouldn't need more than half of a tube per bowl, per mannequin head, because we're not doing a ton, okay? So, the way that we are going to apply it, first I want to just talk on this flip. So you see this, it almost looks like a worm to me. I don't know, like something about that. But if you see what we would consider a pattern, right? So what is the pattern?
Green, red, blue, green, red, blue.
Good. So that would be my first section that I would drop down. So what you're seeing here, I would start with 3 different colors in a pattern. Color number 1, color number 2, color number 3, color number 1. If that's all I can get in, that's all I can get in. Okay? Now I'm going to do maybe 2 slices like that, and I'm going to demo it. And then I'm going to move on to now I need to add more color. Otherwise, I just keep having green, 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 green. Right? So as I'm moving up the head, my maybe 3rd slice up, and I'll demo that, then we've got to decide. I want to still keep the same pattern. So we had green, red, blue, green, red, blue. Now I've got to figure out what goes next to green above it. Blue, right? Can you see that?
Yeah.
So I've got to go, okay, now I'm moving up the head. I'm like on my 3rd slice. So maybe 2 slices like this. My 3rd slice, I'm going to go ahead and add blue at the top, and then I'm back to my pattern. Green, red, blue, green, red, blue. Yes? Are you seeing me?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only getting detailed because we've taught this enough to know it gets somewhat confusing sometimes, okay? So after I've done 2 of these or so, I'm going to be higher up the head again, right? You see how my hair's getting longer because I'm higher up the head, okay? So what would I start with on this one after I've done a couple of the blue at the top?
Red.
Awesome. So red, then what?
Blue.
Blue, perfect. Then what?
Green.
Good. So everyone feel like you're kind of with me,
Mm-hmm.
picking up what I'm laying down?
So do you 3 a piece is what you're saying? Like, or 2 and then 1?
Yeah,
and
maybe
then
two sections you do
Yeah.
the same, and then when you move up the head again, that next slice, that 3rd slice up, that's when you would, oh,
Change.
what did I do?
Wrong
Made a mistake. Mistakes are okay.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Green.
Oh no, no, it's gonna be brown.
Yeah. Screwed it all
So
up.
you guys get the drift, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so understanding that we want to still just keep that pattern, because if we don't, then it's not right or wrong, it's just to get the effect that what you're seeing here. If we weren't changing that, then it would have ended up like all of this from here up would have ended up the same color. Does that make sense if we didn't change it? And now you're going to see how that could happen, but you're not going to do it. All right, so we've got, what kind of slice?
Medium.
Medium density.
Diagonal
What?
back.
Diagonal back, perfect. Cool. So I'm going to take a foil. I can use a board if I want to, but I don't have to, because the foil is going to kind of become your board, because we're really not going to keep using more and more foil, only when we need to, okay? So, first color at the top, I'm going to choose to have red, because I'm going with my red, orange, yellow combination, okay? And again, what did Natalie say? Don't be afraid to what?
Get
Put it
out
on the dark.
Get it on the dark color. You're going to see some effect. Try not to get it on her skin, because you would also see an effect there. Okay? So we've got strong saturation. That's one thing you have to really pay attention to, even more so with City Beats, is making sure that it's saturated throughout. You don't want to see any of those blue orange pieces peeking through once you get your beautiful end result. Okay? Next up, I'm going for my West Village Sunset. Do you notice there's a little bit of space between those 2 colors?
Yes.
Can you guys see that? A little bit of space. So guess what we're going to use? There's another tool. Okay? Edge brush. My recommendation is to just use one end of it, not necessarily the flat side, just one end. And we're going to work those colors together in between. So work it, own it, love it. Okay? Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my 3rd color, which for me is my yellow cab. Again, a little space between the yellow and the orange. Now I can use my other end to blur those together. So I'm not mixing in any red with that yellow or orange. Okay? Now what would I go with?
Red.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I was like,
I was tricking
No.
you.
well, I'm not sure now. You asked me.
And then I still need to blur those together. I'm going to go back to my orange side of my brush.
So if we have the other brush, we just wipe it off or what?
Yeah, you can wipe it off.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm going to continue to move up. So I'm going to slice.
Can you clean those brushes the same as your others?
Can we clean the edge brush the same as a blur brush?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, really just water. It doesn't take a lot of scrubbing. to
Oh, I
it
get what
off
you're
and
saying.
clean.
So yeah, it would have been red all the way up if she didn't.
Yeah, so if I didn't start to shift it, red would have gone all the way up to the top. I would have had a big deep red and then a little bit of yellow and orange, red, yellow, orange. Okay?
Yes.
How long does City Beats last?
Up to 10 shampoos, just like any other direct dye. Direct dyes are direct dyes. They're not meant to last permanently.
What determines
Okay.
how long it would last from person to person?
Yeah.
How often they wash their hair, how porous their hair is.
Yeah. What they
So
wash
this
their
is the
hair
exact
with.
same way we're gonna do it on the one
Temperature
foil,
of the
all of the
water,
hair.
heat styling with no heat
Interesting.
protection.
I do, if I get close to the hairline and stuff, and I want to protect it, but you don't really have to. I do that. We'll see how we move it. Yellow on top of where the yellow already was, right? Or this is going to see where that pattern needs to be, and then last again with red. Okay?
Also, hot tip on direct dye, if you is lighting someone to put it in it's best to treat that hair, right? So that the glossy, good, super feel even balanced, because if I put direct dye on something, it's kind of like a hot tip, right? It's gonna last.
Well, it's like I tell a story about a hair party or color party, or actually two friends that go to a party. One's name is Color, and one's name is Protein, right? And they only, Color only likes to go if Protein's gonna be there, so Color's always concerned before they go, like, hey, Protein, are you coming to that party? What time are you gonna get there? And, you know, at this particular party, Color showed up and walked around and started asking people, hey, you see Protein, Protein's coming, and they were like, I don't think so then, Color decides, all right, I'm gonna hang out, I'll have a drink and see if Protein shows up. So Color hangs out, has one drink, looks around again for Protein. Looks around for Protein and Protein's not there. Guess what Color does? Leaves the party. Done. Not there anymore. Make sense? So if there's no Protein at the hair party, then Color's not gonna stick around. Protein's perfectly fine without Color though. Very independent. Alright, what would be, if I'm gonna start a new top color, what should it be? What's above red? What's above red?
Yellow.
Yeah, perfect.
Beautiful. I love that analogy. That's a good one.
So I'm going just to where the red starts with my yellow, and then I'm gonna start with red where red was. Okay, putting it right in there. What would I do next?
Blend it.
Yep, diffuse, and then orange comes next. Perfect. Diffuse. Work them together a little bit. You don't want a splot of orange blonde, I didn't color it hair. Okay, orange is next. And so on and so forth. Down to yellow, down to red. Then I'm gonna do another one, probably the same. Start with yellow, work into red, orange, yellow, right? Then after I've done a couple of those, then I'm gonna start another fresh top color. What would be my fresh top color? What's
Orange.
above yellow? Orange. So I'm gonna start with orange, then yellow, then red, and so on and so forth. Okay, all the way through this whole top section, all the way up to here, and keep going just diagonal back slices. Add foil where you need to if you're worried about it getting on her face. Okay, and still directing it to this side of her head. Do you see how that over direction is still gonna happen here versus letting it go to natural fall?
So City Beats you can use on damp hair then?
You can, bless you, you can use it on damp hair or dry hair. I honestly prefer it on damp hair because I feel like it's
You
easier
can
to
get it
apply
to
and,
work
like,
through
walk
better,
on there.
but again, just the wetter it is, the less saturation you're gonna get.
It's not super, super wet, just like lightly damp.
4 towels dried?
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited to
What
go play?
questions y'all have? Yes.
Okay, so again, you have those colors at your table. You can choose which of the combinations you, hold on. You can choose which combination you want to use. Start with just half a tube of color though. Don't get greedy and be like, I'm taking this whole tube because your table's got to share. Okay, so be nice and share. If you want to mix it up, you can. You might get some funky colors if you take a different variety, but do what you want to, okay? So first thing you're going to do is what? Shades gloss. Get that on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the second thing you're going to do is your city beats, okay?
And they have 30 minutes?
Okay?